I want to show you a trick about getting rid of the air pockets that accumulate here in the guide bolts, and how you get rid of those, and what happens if you have air pockets here and if you try to compress that air, because I made that silly mistake and I had that problem before. I fixed it, but I forgot about it. Now 2 nights ago I decided to replace the rotors and the brake pads on both rear wheels, and I did not check how the system worked because I was tired. I used the flashlight to do some work. It was very late, like at 10 p.m. I had to go home. And second day I texted a mechanic. I keep looking for a mechanic who can work on some systems that I cannot work on because of lack of tools or lack of space or lack of the hoist, the appropriate tools. And I thought this mechanic knows what he's doing, because on my previous discussion with the mechanic, he said he knows this type of car, and he was very confident that he knows the car. And I said, okay, we'll show up at some point and you will give me an idea of what you can work on and some estimates, and we'll take it from there. And yesterday I decided to go to his garage, and after I started the engine, I started to move the car, drive the car, and I felt something is holding me. It's like driving with the brakes on, because I know that feeling. Sometimes I drive with the brakes on, driving downhill and all that stuff with the engine on, or when I get out of the boat ramp, sometimes I use both feet, so I know the feeling. And I thought it's something not right with the brakes. So I just replaced new pads, new rotors, so it's rubbing, it's something. And I thought I have air pocket. I pull aside, I remove this this cap, I undone this little vent, and was only liquid coming out, so there was no air pocket in the caliper. I thought something is fishy, but I had to get to the mechanic before 6 o'clock, and from time to time I was looking at from on the using the mirror. I was looking at the wheel and I could see the smoke coming out, and at some point it started to stink. And I said, no, I'll drive on a highway. Hopefully the highway speed is going to cool this thing down. I got to the mechanic. The car was smoking a bit, and he started to make some comments and get mad that I don't know what I'm doing, who did replace these brakes, why, and why that is that. And so okay, I admitted that I replaced it, but now I'm at his shop and I need his help to fix the brake or adjust it, to do something, because I'm too tired to spend the time on the brakes to figure it out. And he took things apart. He told me that this is upside down, and I'm looking and said, yeah, it looks upside down compared to the other one. He said, yeah, the vent should be here. I said, yeah, that looks like you're right. But from the distance, I could not get into his way. From the distance, I realized that there's no way you can put this one another way. You can't do that. So that's the factory design with this vent, little valve or whatever bolt is on the lower side. Then he tried to take these things apart. He thought this the shoes on the emergency brake or hand brake, and he started looking in the car and doing something, and I realized that he's spending time trying to figure out a simple problem, because now while I was away, like outside my box, not being in the mechanic shoes, I was just outside. I could see what the guy is doing, kind of, and I realized what was the problem. And I said, yeah, you know what, the only difference I noticed between the two brakes was that I could not push this guide bolt easily in. I had to apply pressure it kept going back, so I knew that I had an air pocket. And then he realized, okay, this guy is right. So his ego was big, but not that big. So he focused on this thing, and he took my bolts away, and he went into his garage. I didn't know what he was doing, but later I realized that he grinded these bolts to make it thinner. So hopefully he was hoping to get the air pocket out, and he kept trying, but no, it was the same thing. Like he was pushing against an air pocket. So he cleaned the grease. I said, maybe there's a grease here. So you tried to compress the grease and a little bit air. He said, no, I cleaned. And also I did the same thing. So there was not too much grease here accumulated over the time, after replacing so many the brakes a few times. But was only on this bolt. This bolt was okay. This bolt has a system like a plastic at the bottom, so this was easier to push it back in, but he grinded this one as well, and I didn't know. And so he monkeyed around, and he kept looking, and of course this was he cooled it down with dumping some water on it. I didn't like the way he cooled it down, but that was okay. And so he tried to figure out how to get rid of the air pocket, and he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drill a hole right here to get rid of the air. I said, no, you don't drill holes in my car. Yeah, I have to agree with that. So I don't want you to drill holes. And now he but I was not with a like aggressive tone of voice. I was just said, you don't drill holes in my car. And he said, yeah, but I'm going to put the rubber here. I said, I don't want you to modify the Mitsubishi car. And he said, you take it somewhere else. But he was mad. He started mumbling in a Persian language or some Iranian or something. And of course, when he took this one out, he dumped it on the floor. Like he discarded, actually. I had to look for it and find it, and now I have it, because this is a dust cap. You don't leave that thing open. The rust will form right here inside, and then you have hard time to remove this thing. I have that problem on the other wheel, which I may have to drill out this thing if I break it. But for now, I don't have to work on that one. So also I have to order these two new bolts and a couple of other parts for the car from Japan. But that's the idea. And I said, yeah, I'll pay you for your time, and you put it back together so I can drive it back home. So he screwed this in, and he pushed some force, and I realized this is locked. I can't. He could not move, and I said, you know, you loosen the bolts, so it will give me some room so I can drive the car back home, and I'll fix it when I get home, which I did. So what was the fix, the quick fix? Of course, I'm going to use grease. I can't leave this one. The way he left it in with no grease, that's, I don't know what type of mechanics these guys are, but I do suggest you to go to a dealership. At least they have liability. You do something, something happens because of their work, you go after those guys. But if you go after a small-time mechanic, and if they have to pay liabilities for your damages or injuries or something you cause, then what? He has some old stuff, pieces of garbage, old tools. What you do? So that's my suggestion. And I'm trying to find a dealer, but the thing is I can't find a dealer who knows this car. So back to my topic here. When I got home, I knew that I have to find a way to remove the air pocket. So when I push this one in, you see, it's going back. So what happens if I screw it in? Yeah, I have to apply lots of force. If I screw it in, it's going to push the whole caliper assembly, including this brake pad, against the rotor here, and it's going to heat it up. And now to fix it, like I said, I have to remove the air pocket. What you do, the air pocket accumulates right here, so you do squeeze this thing a little bit, and now I'll show you. So now is no more air pocket, it's not pushing this thing out. I just have to push it out. But yeah, see, now is loose. See, it's not pushing the bolt out. Why? Because I squeezed the air out. Now you just have to put this gasket back. There is a lip, so you have to set it back here on this side and on that side. So make sure it's not allowing any water to sneak in. Same thing here. So you just squeeze this one, like make some room here. So when you push this one in, so you push it, then you release the air from here. That is the simple fix, because the air accumulates here but is able to escape, and when it escapes, it accumulates into this rubber seal between here, but it cannot escape through here to get out. So here it's enclosing compartment. Here is no way to escape the air, so it goes beside the bolt. It's trying to get out, but here it reaches the thread, and it's very difficult because the thread has some grease already. So the air will stay in here, and this one can hold like a 3-4 psi or something, like some higher pressure, which if you have that pressure on this brake caliper, so that pressure pushes this one this way, this one this way, that means you have a 3-4 psi against this thing, and it's going to heat up your rotor. So that's kind of a long story, but yeah, the idea, I have to check with the other mechanic for this type of jobs, and I still search for someone here in the Vancouver area, someone who knows these engines. Yeah, so the same mechanic was talking, he tried to impress me, and he said, if you drive with this one, the insurance won't cover if you cause any accidents. I said, yeah, you're right, you're perfectly right, I listen to your advice, but I still do things my way, because seems that I know a couple of things. And he started explaining me that he been to war in his country, he divorced, he lost kids, and I thought, okay, maybe his attitude, being stubborn, got him into some rich life events. But what can I say? So that I'm done with that mechanic, and again, my suggestion is to go to reputable store or shop and check reviews and see how the mechanic is doing repair and how they do customer service, because it's not only about skill but also to get a good customer experience. So that's a long story about Pajero 3 brake air pocket. Take care, bye bye.